good morning, and welcome to Tobago Updates here. Yes, it's two young people vibes in with you this morning. My name is Luke James Strim, and I'm also joined by
Ms. Jolie St. John. Good morning, Luke. Good morning, viewers. It is always a pleasure to be here on Youth Wednesdays.
Okay, Julie, firstly, I just want to say big up your whole self because you've been doing such a great job on this show. It's always a pleasure to just see fresh faces on the media, fresh young faces. What's been happening in this space thus far?
We have had a lot happening. On Monday, we would have seen the presentation of the Tobago House of Assembly budget for 2026-2027. So I believe a lot of the buzz in this space is going to be centered around that.
Okay, great. And I noticed that a lot of young people in this space are getting excited for a particular event that will be happening this weekend. We'll be chatting more about that as the week goes along. But before we get into all those fun stuff, Julie, we have to give them the news in 90 seconds.
Viewers, your news in 90 seconds for Wednesday, 24th June 2026 begins now. A daring overnight theft has left the community of Plymouth flabbergasted. Witnesses confirm that thieves used a stolen backhoe and flatbed truck to physically rip out an entire First Citizens Bank automated teller machine from the Supreme Plaza on Shelbourne Street. Eyewitness reports indicate the heavy machinery was originally taken from a nearby job site before being used to tear down the building's concrete facade to access the vault. Authorities have launched an island-wide search for the suspects and the missing cash repository. First responders deployed to the scene of a late-night shooting on the corner of Dutch Fort and Milford Road in Scarborough yesterday. An unidentified male victim was reportedly shot several times during the targeted firearm attack. Emergency services rushed the injured man to the Scarborough General Hospital, where he is currently recovering from his gunshot wounds. Crime scene investigators have swept the area as inquiries continue. And finally, Tobago's business sector is celebrating regional success. Experienced phlebotomist and local entrepreneur Delicia Boris has been named a finalist for the prestigious Caribbean Posh Icon Woman Awards. Boris, a Casmet-trained healthcare professional and the CEO of Glorious Touch Salon, specializes in advanced wellness therapies, lymphatic drainage, and diabetic client care. The Ultimate category winners will be crowned during the 10th anniversary gala this weekend at Peter Island in the British Virgin Islands. That brings us to the end of our news in 90 seconds. Tune in again at 6:30 p.m. for our full newscast.
Thank you so much, Julie, for that excellent reading of the news. And you know, at Tobago Updates, we always love to celebrate birthdays over here. So, viewers, we will be switching over to the birthday segment. Who's first on our list?
First on our list, we have Miss Giselle Allen, looking very splendid in that photo. From the Tobago Updates team, we want to wish you a blessed birthday today and that you enjoy all the celebrations in your honor.
And it seems to be an Allen affair this morning, viewers, because next on our list, we will be sending birthday greetings out to Miss Avril Allen. A happy birthday to you, and I hope you enjoy your day today. Who's next?
We have not one, not two, but three Allens celebrating birthdays this morning. Miss Arlene Allen, we want to wish you a happy birthday as well. And I would have heard that Miss Arlene and Miss Avril Allen are actually twins.
Oh, okay.
So it's a double celebration this morning, and we hope that all the events are fitting for your liking.
That's lovely. Next on our list, we will be sending birthday greetings out to Miss Monique Cox. A happy birthday to you, and I hope you enjoy your day today.
Mr. Sheridan Peters is next. It's nice to have a male in the mix celebrating today. We hope that today is filled with lots of love and appreciation, and that you celebrate not just today, but perhaps for the entire week as well.
Yes. And last on our list, we send birthday greetings out to the beautiful Miss Stephanie Grant. A happy birthday to you, and I hope you enjoy your day today. Now, Jolie, I think we need to tell the viewers who to expect today because, you know, this is a ram-packed segment we have for them this morning. So first on our list, we will be talking all things THA budget. That THA budget statement that was read by Secretary Petal and Petal Roberts, my apologies. We will be doing a bit of analysis of that reading from a youthful perspective. Then we will be bringing on no stranger to us here at Tobago Updates, Mr. Terrence Baines. We'll be speaking all things Election District Fund. And last on all this, we'll be taking a more artistic turn with a spoken word performance by Mr. Darren Sandy. He has an performance on a very pertinent issue that's been happening in this space. Now, before we take our break, a bit like a little insight of what's the World Cup. Marcus, are you live with us?
Yes, I am. Good morning, guys. Are you hearing me loud?
Yes, we are.
Fantastic. Let me say good morning to you guys and happy Youth Wednesday morning. You guys keep doing your stuff here to be. What are you guys supporting for the World Cup, though?
What are you supporting?
Well, I don't actually pay attention to the World Cup. So I think it's very relevant in this discussion.
I have a response, but because that would have made a racist comment on that country, I'm trying to support that. But I'm a very human rights type. I think you know what I'm alluding to, or who I'm alluding to.
Yes, of course. And I'm not going to mention it. I'm going to leave it. And yesterday we only got like 7 goals, and that would have taken the tally to 144 goals in total thus far. So yesterday was a low-key day for the goal scorers, but a significant day for one Cristiano Ronaldo. And if you guys have been watching, in fact, you haven't been watching, but just to tell you that Cristiano Ronaldo and Portugal are one of the favorites to win the World Cup. And in that opening game against Congo, Portugal, they drew 1-1, and Ronaldo had a lackluster performance, didn't score a goal, and a lot of criticism came his way. But yesterday he responded. He got a double yesterday, and Portugal scored 5 goals. It was the biggest win yesterday. 5 goals, defeating Uzbekistan by 5-0, and that victory would have put them back in the runnings for the round of 32. In fact, victory to Colombia last evening by 1-0 over Congo. Portugal and Congo are guaranteed a spot in the round of 32. When both teams meet this Saturday at 7:30 p.m., that game will decide who tops the group and who would have actually gotten a better bracket in terms of the round of 32. With some other results yesterday, we got England. They drew against Ghana, a significant result there for Ghana, and that will put them in good stead for the next match and a good opportunity to get to the next round of 32. Panama, they were defeated by Croatia 1-0, and that defeat ended their campaign. Panama playing in the CONCACAF region and qualified out of CONCACAF. Had a good game, but goals win matches, and Croatia, they did the business here and winning by 1-0. And as I mentioned earlier, Colombia also victorious over Congo 1-0. 6 matches on today. Yes, 6 matches on today. At 3 p.m. we have double headers all throughout the day. Switzerland, they will take on Canada in a top of the table clash. The victor there, they're going to qualify top of the table. And then Bosnia and Qatar also at 3 p.m. Both teams already, I should say, eliminated and playing there for pride. That game is also at 3 p.m. And then at 6 p.m. another doubleheader. Morocco, they are taking on Haiti, and Scotland up against Brazil. Lots of fans of Brazil in the Caribbean. That's a big match here. Brazil atop the table with 4 points and Scotland on 3. A victory to Scotland can see them top the table, and a draw can also get them into the round of 32. And then the final matches on today: South Korea taking on South Africa at 9 p.m. together with Mexico against Czech Republic. So lots to look forward to today. 6 matches. Hopefully, as a fan and as a neutral, we're going to see more goals on today. And I forgot to mention as well, in terms of Cristiano Ronaldo, he became the first player to score in 6 consecutive World Cups, and the second oldest player to score a goal in the World Cup. So kudos there to Cristiano Ronaldo, and what a way to answer his critics, guys.
Thank you very much, Marcus, for that update. We will be looking forward to having you again as the week goes along. So I just hope you enjoy your day and keep us updated.
Fantastic, guys, and good luck to you guys this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Jolie, it's time for us to take a break, but we have to tell the viewers to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Sofa Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deal some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
Make your goals a reality this season with Mount Pleasant Credit Union. Tobago's choice, we got you smiling. Come and feel that mid-year feeling, oh yeah. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice. You know, every loan wants to prove more reasons to celebrate. Chance to win big, doesn't that feel great? Up to $3,500 in exciting gift certificates. Share investment starts as low as $2,500. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans. Let your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice, you know.
All are we is one family. Tobago family and friends. Healing concert for Oscar B.
All are we is one family. All are we is one family.
A benefit concert honoring a cultural icon, Oscar B. On Sunday, the 28th of June, 2026 at the Shore Park Cultural Complex. Featuring conscious renditions, gospel performances, and Tobago's finest artists. A benefit concert honoring the cultural icon, Tobago's own, Tobago's pride, Tobago's legend. Doors open from 4 p.m. Showtime 5 p.m.
Give from the heart or make your donations at the door.
Or call 917-807-2119, 741-6143 or 759-6634. Presented by friends and family of Oscar B Committee in collaboration with Tobago-based partners. All proceeds will go towards Oscar B's medical expenses and recovery. You don't want to miss it. All are we is one family. The healing concert for Oscar B.
We go wine so, push back so, we go jam so, hey, then we come together. Hear me?
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
Okay, I find you taking long to play the card. I'm all day. I'm all in time, so good, but yo, what's good you went by?
Lion Bishops, boy.
Bishops?
Yeah,
sure,
we know the baddest has come out of Bishops, sir.
The baddest?
But telling away.
We know the baddest, but you went night and night, and I is the baddest.
My Bishops is the best, boy.
Yo, what's going on with Tola? Here, what's going on? It's only one way to settle this. We'll be live on Youth Voice TV, where I, your host, Multibass, will be hosting the Rep Your School DJ competition, where DJs will go head-to-head in a crazy battle to secure the title. We have cash prizes of $10,000 to come out and win, and a lot of amazing prizes. Guys, what are you waiting for? Let me come out, come and showcase your skills. Come, let me do some juggling.
So guys, there are two categories for DJs that are out of school up to 35 years, and for the DJs that are currently in school, it must be up to 19 years of age. So guys, get ready. It's all about Rep Your School. It's all about the DJ competition.
Who will bring the best vibes? Who can control the crowd? And who will earn the bragging rights? you get a chance to be a part and witness the rise of the new DJ generation. So this is Youth Voice, Rep Your School DJ, live on Tobago Updates. Stay tuned.
Youth Voice, Rep Your School DJ competition. Rep Your School.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back. It is Youth Wednesdays here on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. And joining us in studio, we have Mr. Ajay Allen. He is a former youth parliamentarian and a youth assemblyman. This morning, we are going to be discussing all things Tobago House of Assembly Budget Presentation 2026-2027. Good morning, Mr. Allen, and welcome to Tobago.
Good morning, Jolie, and good morning to Luke.
Good morning, good morning.
Okay. So as a former youth parliamentarian, what was your overall assessment of the budget which was presented on Monday 22nd, and how do you view the financial priorities which were outlined?
I mean, it's a fair budget, it's reasonable. I think we could have asked for more, as usual. So it's really a budget where we're trying to take little and make plenty with. But hopefully, let's see if we get what we asked for. Because we know if we follow the usual trend, we're not going to get anything close to the amount that we requested if we had to follow the usual trend.
And when evaluating a budget, many persons just focus on the numerical figures, but it goes further than that. It's about sustainability, impact, and proportion as well. So what areas of the budget do you believe have the greatest potential to create meaningful change for today?
I'd say there were a few areas that I found of interest during the presentation. For me, the priorities that stood out were the constitutional autonomy, sustainable population growth, which is something very interesting for us as young professionals, sustainable tourism, the creative industries, the food security and sovereignty, as well as the digital infrastructure and the AI adaptation. So those were the areas that stood out for me from the beginning.
And Adri, I pronounced it correctly.
Correct.
Right? Lovely. You would have touched on the island autonomy project. I understood that the allocation should be around $10 million for the autonomy project. From your perspective as a young person, because we appreciate that this conversation about Tobago's autonomy has been going on for a while, and it seems to us now that we're taking a shift from it just being talk to actually being tangible action. What would you like to see coming out from that Tobago autonomy project, granted that we're going to have an allocation for it now?
Okay, so there's one thing that stood out for me, and when I heard of it, I went to look directly for that statement. Because over the years, we hear the autonomy conversation, but the reality is, look, our generation will have to treat with it, whether we like it or not. So I saw in the presentation by the Goodly Secretary that the THA would launch extensive civic education and public awareness campaigns spanning school programs, community workshop, and media tours to ensure that every Tobagonian understands their constitutional rights and the profound benefits of autonomy. And it went on to speak that they will foster a powerful sense of Tobagonian identity and pride. And for me, that was significant because I believe over the past years, the autonomy attempts did not include school students. It did not include the next generation of Tobagonians, and we are the ones who have to treat with the benefits and the consequences of this action. I think as well, one statement in that area that stood out for me as well is backed by unyielding domestic unity. Because usually once we have that autonomy conversation, people begin to think independence, secession, moving away from Trinidad. However, what we are saying is we just want to be ourselves within the unitary state of Trinidad and Tobago, and we are not targeting separation.
And as we go on with these discussions of autonomy, and you mentioned a particular part of the budget which you appreciate, we also compare last year's budget to what was presented this year, and you have already identified one area of improvement. But what other areas have you also identified more improvements, and what aspects do you believe still need more emphasis and focus?
So I think it's interesting when we look at the labor force proportionate. I remember the Goodly Secretary spoke of it pretty early in her presentation, where she was saying that 60% of the labor force in Tobago was employed by the state sector. I mean, it's reduced because we usually know it to be a lot more, but we appreciate the fact that it's going down, but it raises a serious question as to what's happening with the private sector on the island of Tobago. And when we compare it nationally, 25% of the national labor force is employed by the state sector. So, I mean, this raises a lot of questions. And my question would now be, out of that 60% of the Tobagoan labor force, what percentage of that is short-term employees? What percentage of that are young professionals who work month to month, and we don't have that ability to make critical financial decisions? So it's hard to invest in a house, it's hard to get loans, it's hard to purchase vehicles and make those types of investment. So for me, I found that very interesting. It is an improvement, yes, but I think I would like to hear more details on that during the actual presentation as we go forward.
And, you know, when a young person hears about the budget and we hear that big figure that, you know, it's being requested, our first instinct is to think, oh, well, yeah, that is how much the island is getting. But, you know, on a deeper analysis, you know, there's recurrent expenditure and there's the development aspect of the budget. Can you walk us through that for the young persons listening, just to give them an explanation of what actually those figures represent?
Okay, so what you will see happening is recurrent is your bills. So that's paying your light bill, keep persons employed, and your development is where most of your work or, you know, projects would come from. Like your road development, school construction. Those projects are usually what we have classified as development. And what I think people also get misconstrued with in this case is one is an ask. So it's not what we actually would get. And then releases also will have a factor. Because usually the budget don't take the overdraft facility into consideration. So that when we get funding late, it's like a loan basically. So you pay interest on it. So we lend you the money before. But when you're repaying us, we want a little something on it. And I think we didn't take that into consideration here in this budget as well. And as usual, the development budget is usually the smaller number. What I also found interesting is the issue of the sustainable population growth. I mean, as a young professional, I know a number of my colleagues are in the phase where we're thinking family. So we are getting married, we are looking for houses and that kind of stuff. And we see where there's a drop in the fertility rate. But if we don't have stable employment, are you going to have more children?
Correct.
I mean, let's face the reality of it. We would now think and try to rationalize every decision we take. So I think that's one of the areas that we need to look into. I also heard they made mention of including childcare subsidies, such as the baby box and the universal child support initiative. I think that's something we need to get more details on, because a one-off baby box is an incentive, yes, but it's a short-term incentive. And according to the UN, a child is anybody below the age of 18. So we like to see how that would span over that 18 years of the child's development, and the funding. We'd also like to see who it would go to. Would it cover mothers alone? Would it encompass single fathers? So I mean, that's very good, but we really need to go into some more details there, as well as the drop in the fertility rate. We need to spend some more studies to figure out where the challenges are. Is it that as young men we're drinking more alcohol and we're affecting our fertility? Is it, I mean, we really need to do some deep dive into some of these areas, but it's a good start.
Yes, and as you identify the areas that need to be expanded more, from your experience in the Youth Parliament and the Youth Assembly, what policies or investments have you seen in this year's budget, or would you have liked to see, to specifically target issues like entrepreneurship, youth unemployment, and skills development on the island?
Right, so for me, and I know I had highlighted the creative industries as one of the areas. So when I saw the establishment of a youth music academy and a film lab, I got excited. I mean, because I always believe that we waste good bacchanal in Trinidad and Tobago. Netflix have nothing on our good Trinidad and Tobago bacchanal. We know we like to follow the stories on TikTok and on all of these places. So when I saw that film lab, I saw it as an opportunity for us to monetize it, for us to have proper facilities in place so we could produce high quality movies. And Tobago is no short of that, because we had the Swiss Robinson movie film right here in Tobago. We saw a couple of challenge series film. We had Naked and Afraid. So we do have that capacity. Yes, I think that's a good opportunity for young people, as well as the music academy. You know, everybody want to rap, everybody want to do dub plates. So I saw that's a good encouragement for young persons as well. I know they made mention of some more housing as well too. So that's good for my young people and a youth standpoint. I know in this initial presentation, it wasn't singled out youth and specifics, but as we go into it, we've seen some of the areas. The mega farming project for me as well was very, very good. To see that we're using some of the CPEP labor and pushing them into the agricultural sector, because I can see that becoming self-sustainable in a few years. once it's managed properly and effectively.
Okay, great. And from your perspective, as you know, someone who is active in the youth space, a former youth parliamentarian, when it comes down to our engagement with the budget, you know, sometimes we feel as though we are included after the fact. If you are to, you know, give an appeal or a piece of advice to the Secretary for Finance just to get more young people involved in this process, what will you advise her to do?
I mean, the Goodly Secretary is one of the more popular ones. But I think we need to make people realize that they're important. So even in these consultations, use a lot more social media in the process, because our generation now is a TikTok, social media, quick environment. I think that is one of the things that is needed. I also think we need to show the young people where the money is. So once we understand how we can make the money or where the money relies, I think that is where we would go, and that will help a lot in the process.
Okay, great.
And even further to that question, and I think a good note for us to end on, is accountability. The public often hears these figures and hears promises during the budget season, but how can we, what role do we play in ensuring that these promises are delivered in terms of financial allocations that were presented in the budget?
Because I think this is twofold for us, because as youth parliamentarians, Luke and I would know that it's a long process. It's not as simple as we keep our protest and things change immediately. So I think we just need to allow the population and a whole, and not just young people, to understand step by step what the process is like. So if you have an appeal, what do we do? How the documents move from one desk to the next? Because I think on a number of occasions, politicians take responsibility for things that they have little to no influence over. Because most public servants would tell you they answer to an administrator and not a politician. So a number of times you'll have blockages in these processes, but because we simply do not know who it is or where it. So I think it comes right back to explaining, spending time with the population, helping people understand that it's not just our one and done. It's not just we get the allocation and we spend it as we like. So there are accountability processes, there are accounting procedures. So in some cases, having persons understand that we must follow the Auditor General regulations, we must follow the Procurement Act, and the number or the myriad of legal processes that must be followed before.
All right, so we want to thank you very much for joining us on Tobago Updates this morning. We do appreciate you taking time to, you know, expand on what was presented in the budget, and also for presenting a youth point of view.
No problem, thank you very much.
All right, viewers, that brings us to the end of this interview, but of course we have lots more in store for you. It is Youth Wednesdays here on the Tobago Updates morning show. So as we go to our break, we want to encourage you to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Coming up, hot plates, cold drinks, and chilled vibes were the order of the month in Antigua and Barbuda. Top chefs, tasty menus, influencers, and foodies. The boxes were ticked, kitchens buzzing, and grills fired up. It's the one and only Antigua and Barbuda Culinary Month with Caribbean Passport TV on this station.
Stay tuned for what's coming next.
All Are We is one family. Tobago family and friends. Healing concert for Oscar B.
All Are We is one family. All Are We is one family.
A benefit concert honoring a cultural icon, Oscar B, on Sunday, the 28th of June, 2026 at the Shore Park Cultural Complex, featuring conscious renditions, gospel performances, and Tobago's finest artists. A benefit concert honoring the cultural icon, Tobago's own, Tobago's pride, Tobago's legend. Doors open from 4 p.m., showtime 5 p.m. Give from the heart or make your donations at the door. Or call 917-807-2119, 741-6143 or 759-6634. Presented by friends and family of Oscar B Committee in collaboration with Tobago-based partners. All proceeds will go towards Oscar B's medical expenses and recovery. You don't want to miss it. All Are We is one family. The healing concert for Oscar B.
We go wine so, push back so, we go jam so, hey, Then we come together.
Hear me? From the reef, from the reef to the road.
From the reef to the road.
From the reef to the road. Tobago calling. Sweet vibes, sweet wine, everybody falling. We bring the culture straight to you. Tobago updates, we keeping it true.
Oh gosh. Tobago updates. On the screen, there we go. You're home for October, carnival show. From the big stage shine to the roll line. We bring Tobago to the world in real time.
Tobago updates. Tobago updates. Carnival 2026. We said the pace. Wave your flag. Anywhere you're there.
Anywhere.
Island love trimming all around you. Yeah. Clicking lock on for the rhythm start.
Tobago updates. Caribbean art. Caribbean art.
And I have never, ever tried anything from the dirt oven.
Let's go to the backyard dirt oven on a Thursday. Here now, talk about authentic. On entry, I felt at home. I felt like I was going to visit my loving grandmother on a weekend. The kind of weekend where she showers you with love, stories, and food. This place is a home away from home. And just like I would do at home, I pop the question, what you had to eat day? And boom, coconut drops. Boom, bread. Boom, garlic bread, boom, hops, boom, coconut tart, boom, jam tart, and boom, something they call nuts. And just like that, Mistress Baker was ready to pop them in the oven. And don't worry, she had some help. And while we was waiting, I said, let we hear from Mistress Baker herself.
Well, we've been operating for a couple of years now. We started, this was a COVID project. We operate strictly on Thursdays only. You don't keep stock, we only sell on Tuesdays.
Such a sweet lady. Hey, AMPLIA, it's ready. When last you see a nice golden brown bread, sir? Backyard bakery for the win. AMPLIA, a GT, I finally get me the oven bread with a little extra goodies on the side. You might be asking, where they're located? They are located on Bukuru, right on Nightingale Avenue, right before Racetrack Wheels if you're coming from town. Just look for the green hedge. You can't miss it. Pause. Check out the menu day one time. Honestly, guys, this is an experience I will never forget. It's a home away from home, a place filled with love, life, and most importantly, good bread.
My name is Carpage. I'm the head coach of St. Jago High School boys track and field team.
My name is Joseph Small. I am the head coach of the girls female program. Preparing an athlete is not just running on the track. You have the mental aspect, you have the nutrition aspect, and you have the support and the motivation. So there's a lot of factors that we have to look into, and we have to try to see how best we can deal with them as best as possible.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning. Good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back, viewers, and as we continue this morning's conversations, we are shifting to all things community development. Now, for those of you who have been paying attention to this space, you would have noticed that there's something called EDF, Electoral Election District Fund. My apologies. And joining us this morning to give us some more information about that is Pastor Terence Bain, Strategic Advisor, and Miss Akila Kaiser, Program Coordinator for the Electoral District Fund Unit. Good morning, and how are you all feeling this morning?
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Trim. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Now, on the surface, when you first hear the words election district fund, you think money, you think something that's reserved.
Electoral. Yes, I'm with you. Electoral.
So, I want you all to walk me through what exactly is this fund and what was the driving catalyst to have it established?
Okay. So the Electoral District Fund is a community-focused initiative that was established to give the area representatives the opportunity to directly implement projects and initiatives within their district. The area representatives are uniquely positioned to be able to identify firsthand what the challenges are, the opportunities, the development priorities. So the Electoral District Fund was created so that they can use that to implement those projects, those initiatives to address those needs.
Okay, great. And how exactly will this fund work? Because we know that the Tobago House of Assembly is a rather technical institution. So for viewers who are listening and tuning in, can you just walk them through how exactly this fund works?
Yes, indeed. Well, thankfully for us, the process is a simple, transparent, and accountable one. So I'll just quickly go through the steps. The first of which begins at the district office. So interested persons, applicants, whether it be in the form of individuals, groups, clubs, NGOs, would go to the district offices and get their application form, apply, submit it there. If necessary and they need assistance with the forms, the trains are adequately trained to be able to assist them, guide them through the application process. It then moves to the area representative who would make the recommendations and send it to the Electoral District Fund unit. That unit will do the administrative process, make sure that the eligibility requirements are met, and that the T's are crossed and our I's are dot. And just to touch on the eligibility requirements quickly, those include things such as the extent to which it impacts the community, the extent to which it meets the objective of the fund, the needs and justifying those needs, the practicability and the feasibility of the initiative, and the extent to which it is not offered by another division, because we are not trying to replace what other divisions are doing. We're just here to complement and fill in the gaps where they are identified.
Okay, so just to get a better understanding, just to break things down, because we're on the youth show, let's say, for example, I live in Mount St. George, and right outside my house, there's this very huge wall where a mural project would have started and stopped. Let's say I am a part of a youth group and I have the bright idea, probably let's repaint this wall and probably put some lovely illustrations on this wall. Can I now go through the EDF to have this executed?
Yes,
Okay,
that
great.
type of project will sit well under the Electoral District Fund once the application is filled out and we get the necessary documents and such. That type of project can be facilitated under the
Okay,
fund.
great. And Pastor Baines, when you look at the island of Tobago, you know, we are very community oriented. And this fund seems to be one that will, you know, deepen that integration within communities.
Certainly.
From your perspective, why do you think now is the right time for the EDF?
Well, I mean, there's never a special time to give community support. That's the first thing. But I think, you know, since we started this governance trajectory, and have this idea of a Tobago that is the greatest little island, you know, certainly government alone would not be able to do that. We find that the people of Tobago, to my mind, are fiercely independent people. And so strengthening communities, giving them more resources, giving them more support wherever we can as government and as institutions of government and so on, is an important pillar in us getting to where we're trying to get to. We started this conversation about this EDF back in 2023, actually. Looked at some of the models around and so on, and came up with a framework that will support the project and all that kind of thing. And of course, I feel very honored to be in this space at this time, to see the implementation of the unit. And there are so many skills in communities. We know that by virtue of applications that come to the division and by communication with people and by some of the sentiments of the area reps as well. And area reps are overwhelmed at times with the needs and the requests that come to the office and so on. And so this fund is going to give tremendous support even in assisting area reps in strengthening their responsibility to the districts and so on, notwithstanding as well giving the people a sense of ownership of their own development of the individual communities, because certainly every community may not have the same kind of need, you know, but ultimately we want to be able to give the entire Tobago an opportunity for them to be a part of their own development and the projects that may be important to those districts and so on. So to me, the timing was always right. We are just glad that now we are set and we are about to launch the project and so we're excited about that.
Excellent. And I think a question that's probably ringing on everybody's head is how much funding is actually available?
I'll take this one, Pastor Bin. So for this initiative, each district has an allocation of $150,000. And we know that there are many needs in the district. And $150,000, it may seem minuscule, but we have to be reminded that this is a new initiative and that this is the start of something where support is actually being given directly to to the different districts so that the area representatives can support. In terms of the demand, the program will be assessed, and if it is determined that the increase for demand is there, then it is safe to assume that the allocation will also match that demand.
Okay, great. And sometimes when you think about the Tobago House of Assembly, one recurring theme, and I think that every Tobagonian has experienced, is that things sometimes take a while to, process and be approved. From the perspective of the EDF, how long do you think approvals will take?
Oh, well, we have a very ambitious timeline. We have an ambitious timeline, and I will go ahead and say it, of 4 to 6 weeks from the receipt of the application to when the check is given to the supplier or the person that is implementing the project. And why I could go ahead and say it is because I want to thank our administrator, Dr. Akpala, who is putting things in place with respect to the resources to ensure that the EDF will have that attention in the different divisions or departments so that when the items reach that department, it will be processed in a timely fashion. So 4 to 6 weeks is what we're looking at.
Okay, great. And looking ahead to the future, do you see this EDF, probably having the potential to be expanded?
Certainly. I mean, it's a pilot project, for want of a better word. The point that was made earlier just about the expanding of the resource and that kind of thing. I am sure that on launch day, you understand, that we are going to have a plethora of persons lining up to make their application, because people always have these ideas in the districts and so on. And so we intend to have a robust kind of look into the project and that kind of thing, and see how things are rolling out, and that will inform the expansion of the project, I am sure. We have the commitment of the Executive Council, which is made up, of course, of these area representatives and so on, who have really been on board since we started this conversation. And we because of course we are using public funds, we have to do due diligence to make sure that all the I's are dotted, according to my good friend, and the T's are crossed. And I think what was really acid too in the conversations was the commitment of the administrator to make sure that these applications are processed in a timely manner. You understand? So I support Akela in that timeline, because that was the spirit of the conversation when we started and so on. So we hope that the launch of the project and the work that the unit is doing will inform expansion, and in a timely manner as well. Because like I said, it's a novel thing that we're doing, and certainly government has to come up with new ideas and do some different things to see how we can realize this goal and dream that we are going after. So I think the community should be very excited, all the various community groups and so on. Certainly I know the area reps are excited, and we hope that this working together is going to help us to get to where we're trying to get to.
Okay, great. Let's talk accessibility for anybody who would like to obtain these forms. Where can they go? How can they get it? Is it online? Is it physical? Is it both? Talk to me.
So presently, the forms are at or will be at the electoral district offices. So within the first week of July, the public can expect to visit their offices by the 6th of July latest to access these forms. For now, they will only be in person. And with respect to more information about the fund, I would advise them to also continue liaising with their district offices. The staff were trained, so they are adequately informed to be able to give the necessary information, as well as to stay tuned to the division's social media pages to keep abreast of all the information posted there.
Okay, great. And as we wrap up, I just want you to leave something with the Tobagonians as I ask these questions. Why do you think that Tobagonians should be excited about this electoral district fund?
Well, as I said earlier, the communities are replete with ideas, and people have a lot of projects that they had there lying dormant, and they need some support, they need funding and that kind of thing. And so funding for communities is always a good thing, and so on. And so we shall have more community engagement. People are going to be directly involved in the development and the expansion of their community and community ideas. I believe it is going to also create a greater cohesion between these groups in the communities and the office of the area representative. And I think the point should be made as well, that one of the reasons why we have the forms at the offices now, we really want that relationship with the applicants and the community persons in the community too, that relationship with the district office and the district officers. We want that relationship to develop, because the project itself is community oriented and so on, and so I think that is a good thing. And so I believe that the average community, every community in Tobago, should be and perhaps are excited, because we are getting all the time, all area representatives will concede that they get these requests all the time, and the frustration that comes at times when people have good ideas but there just may not be the resources available to get these ideas manifested in reality. I mean, we were lamenting over the years, perhaps in the first term, that we didn't have enough resource, and now we are getting some more resources. Therefore, we have to now make good on these promises that we have been making to the people and so on. And I think the EDF is one of those initiatives that represents our idea of moving Tobago into the place that we want to see it.
All right, Pastor Baines, thank you so much. So viewers, we have reached the end of our interview this morning. I want to thank you all for joining us and, just expanding our perspective on this EDF. Viewers, will be taking a quick break. Just remember to share the live, and we'll be right back.
Okay. 335, 336, 337, 338, 339.
Counting on your fingers again. No wonder you lose your business.
Grandpa, thanks for helping me start over.
You not lucky in business, As a child, you tried to sell hog plum. That failed. As a teenager, you and your boyfriend tried to break into the jewelry business. But hey, where that boy end up?
He live in Aruka in the Grove. The golden one.
Oh, child, if you want to get into business, you have to have your financial records intact. But do you know your numbers?
Of course, 624 333.
No, child, your numbers, your ratios, your equity ratios. You have a financial handicap.
What?
You need to see somebody about that. Anderson!
Who?
And the son in Trinidad and Tobago, they offer tax and accounting services. They know about financial management.
Grandpa, I started this business with nothing.
And nothing is what you will end up with unless you call Anderson Services. Here.
Okay, this card is nice.
Yeah.
What's this?
Your rental fee. Have business will pay rent. Hot and groovy in the soca party.
Sofa Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deals on some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
Coming up, hot plates, cold drinks, and chilled vibes were the order of the month in Antigua and Barbuda. Top chefs, tasty menus, influencers, and foodies. The boxes were ticked, kitchens buzzing, and grills fired up. It's the one and only Antigua and Barbuda Culinary Month with Caribbean Passport TV on this station.
Stay tuned for what's coming next.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back to Youth Wednesdays here on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Thus far, we have spoken the Tobago House of Assembly budget and we have spoken about the Electoral District Fund. But to end the Youth Wednesday segment this morning, we are doing a bit of a creative spin. And joining us in studio, we have none other than Mr. Darren Sandy. He is a local spoken word artist, a performer, a stalwart, I would say, in the artistic sector. And he's going to be speaking with us about his spoken word piece regarding the Alyssa Phillip arrest and the entire situation surrounding her. Good morning, Mr. Stanley, and welcome to Tobago Update.
Hey, good morning. Glad to be here in person this time.
Yes, yes. Your spoken word piece, it responds to the entire Alyssa Phillip situation. What was the initial emotion or that moment that really sparked your desire to create a piece surrounding the entire situation?
I think I'd be fuddled for one. I don't quite understand why in this particular instance a young girl who essentially she just disagreed with something, and whether or not we agree or disagree with what she disagreed with, what her perspective is, she has the right to express that. And that infringement, I call it an infringement upon her right, is representative of something that could happen to all of us. And when you're coming from the business or the realm of expression and you're going through years, I've been giving young people opportunities to express themselves. I've understood how important it is for me, how important it is for democracy. You realize that that thing that is happening with her is something very troubling. I don't understand why dialogue can be held with her. I just don't understand what is happening. And many times when you don't understand what is happening as a creative, you get something on paper, you put something together, and it helps you kind of navigate whatever the situation is. And I think I've been in the process of navigating. It's not the first poem that I wrote about Alyssa and that particular incident. And it's not because I have any real feelings about, you know, the whole Joshua Samaru Kaya incident that's happening. I mean, it happened. We saw the video and it's out in public domain, and we have a right to talk about it because it's out there. Despite what some officials may say, it's out there and people are going to naturally speak about it. But what is happening with Alyssa in particular, to me, is a different layer of I want to use the word oppression, but I want to use it very carefully. But it's a hint of oppression, of a stifling, of a muzzling that people just, you have to speak about it. You have to speak about it, and you cannot allow that to really settle into what we consider to be our Trinbagonian society.
Yes, and as a creative, whether in the realm of calypso, visual art, or spoken word, in your case, social commentary is almost inevitable.
Of course.
So speak to us about the importance of artists using their platforms and art forms to comment on these very pertinent issues within our society.
There are a lot of artists that will say that they stay away from politics. But everything is political. The way we exist is based on political systems. And, you know, sometimes they might confuse it with party politics. And I reserve the right of any artist to stay away from any particular loyalty or branding to one party or the other. You know, that could affect your business as an artist. But we are all political, and things that happen in around us, so you have the responsibility to address it, especially as an orator. That is where the history of the oral arts has been about storytelling. And maintaining legacies and passing on ideas and knowledge. And the artists, particularly the artists that are so connected to the oral forms, the spoken word artists, the calypsonian, speech band and those kind of things. You have that responsibility to continue to remind society that there's a mirror that we constantly holding up, and the ability for you to creatively paint that mirror and bring it to people often gives people much needed perspective. It gives you a sort of the media is very critical, but it gives you a different angle from just hearing the news to almost feeling the news, feeling the things happening and allowing things to resonate with people. And you know, Mr. Sandy, no one likes to be told that they are wrong. And I think what Alyssa is doing is trying to, you know, let people know that what happened was wrong and she doesn't agree with it. But when you look at the Caribbean, especially in Trinidad and Tobago, there is this practice that as young persons, we are not really supposed to challenge or elders or those in authority. And in mere fact, we are seeing this young ladies able to, you know, create such a magnitude of engagement and awareness in this situation. You know, it wouldn't always be respected by the elders. For any young person out there who would like to use their voice, what advice would you like to give to them this morning? Very cliche. You need to be brave, and you need to realize that sometimes authority goes mad, right? Authority goes mad, and if authority is allowed to run loose without being checked by calypsonians, by artists, and you keep muzzling these people and young Alyssas of the like, the place will explode eventually. Because when you try to keep down something for so long and it's just steaming, somebody at some point will explode. And so your ability to speak is really keeping the thing sane, keeping the place sane, maintaining a level of sanity, and reminding people that if an injustice takes place, there are people, especially when you see young people doing it, there are young people willing to stand up and say, nah, this is not how the thing's supposed to go. Let's shift it back in this direction. And Alyssa is doing the thing peacefully and respectfully as far as I saw. And I think that part is important as well, because sometimes as a young person, you just want to let the fire out, and that fire is good, but sometimes you have to manage it so you could more effectively get your point across.
And as you speak to the youth, how do you yourself hope your piece is remembered in the future?
I just hope that my piece just gave people a little bit of encouragement. It was released on social media. You know, things exist in the realm of social media, a couple days if you're lucky. But I hope that in those couple days, people would have seen that, one, the art form can be used for this. Two, there are other people outside of Alyssa that really understand and see what is going on. And 3, if this is the way we feel, then we can all do something about it. Whether it is through a poem, through a song, whether it is you want to go and stand with Alyssa, whatever the case is, you have the opportunity to make a statement. And Mr. Sunday, I have to ask you obvious question. Will you be giving us a performance of this piece this morning? Yeah. I'm going to do the piece. I'm going to read it. I'll read it a little slower than social media. Okay, great. How many police it take to hold a little black girl? Well, count with me. 2, 4, real plenty. Riot gear, prepare a prayer for she and our father. I can't fathom how police fandom for this woman now borders on fanatic. I love the police, but this erratic, unnecessary show of muscle does not serve to protect. It muzzles. Somebody tell the COP that the history of Labor Day sways beyond wage and pay. Stop. Cop brutality was also a topic of the day. What a way to paint the 1930s again. Maybe a smell a bottle on she and thought the crowd was going and killed 2-3 police. Maybe the orders of her bail included cage speech, but by now it's clear that the girl there in peace and her friend could be a criminal never to be released for all I care. What we have here is a clear plan to put people in fear to speak. If what they believe stays from authority, this is the beginning of the peak of a quiet state. A muted poem, a Calypsonian's tech fails, a DPP with a heavy word of warning on the front page, and those already decided would say, it's good for she breaking the law, and applaud the independence parade of excessive force. Ignore a double murder simultaneously taking place next door. In this land where loyalty trumps failed laws and leaders aligned with the unchanged course, absent Alyssa's will be the signs of our brain lost. And long before we die, our graves show.
Right. Viewers, you heard it here live, Mr.
Yes.
Darren Sandy. We want to thank you very much for joining us on Tobago Updates this morning. It is always a pleasure to have you here with us, and even more of a pleasure to have you physically with us this morning. Viewers, that brings us to the end of Youth Wednesdays, but of course the program continues day after, so we want to encourage you to stay tuned. Good Morning Tobago is up next, and in the meantime, share the live, share the live, share the live.
I was pleased to see that they gave a holistic approach. Indeed, the term holistic wellness came up, and they were able to touch on the financial aspect. They were able to speak about spiritual wellness, something that sometimes people don't even consider, and even stress in the workplace, because many times people are under stress and they may not realize it.
It was a much needed opportunity. And what I would like to see going forward is that, more staff are privileged with the opportunity, with the information that was provided today. I don't think that it should be limited to a selective few then. This was too good. The information, is relevant.
Our department is a department that's on the ground. From myself to my entire team, we are on the ground. We are faced with ground issues. We are faced with real issues. All our clients that come in. Now, we have clients that come in that we can help, and then there are others that we advise. We take everything. Then we look at what's happening in the world. Trinidad and Tobago, we see the tension, we look at our own colleagues, our own friends, the things that they are going through. So our topics, it comes from the people. It comes from the International Labour Organization. It comes from our stakeholder partners, Ministry of Labour, NDD, CSO. It comes all around. And what we look at what is happening now, what is affecting our people now, and that's what we try to tap into. That's why we try to find people that could speak to those areas and give our people the help and the attention.
The hope would be that persons who attended would also share this information with their colleagues. I think it should be extended even to other departments as time goes along.
I want to thank the Department of Labour for providing this opportunity, because I will say it's an opportunity for me today, and I hope that I'll be able to relay the information to my work colleagues so that we could help foster a positive and healthy work environment.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Congratulations, you're in the glory of God. Congratulations, He has done it for you. And you will come back with a new song to sing. God is good. Yes, you will come again with a new song of praise. God is good.
What we are seeing here today, I was in Tobago before when she had it in the ground. There's no greenhouse, it was just a concept. And seeing it today, it's exactly what we wanted from the innovation project, to be able to see scale up employment, looking at that substitution when you talk about importing food. I think we're really on our way.
The owner of PEB's Prosperous Hands actually did approach the Business Development Unit for a loan. So we do have a loan program specifically for very critical sectors in Tobago: agriculture, tourism and digitization. And I found it very important for us to invest in this initiative, and I can say for today that we feel a sense of pride having invested in this project and seeing it actually come to fruition.
We are very proud to be able to have an accomplishment that we can show to the Tobagonians as one of the things that the Mega Farming Development Program has successfully collaborated on. The Mega Farming Development Program is really tasked with the optimal utilization of state lands.
What you see here today is a representation of my determination, resilience, faith in God, persistence, and I am so proud of where I've come from, what I've been through, and I just continue to give God all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise. I want to say a special thanks to my spiritual covering, the Ramdials. Special thanks to my friends, family, destiny helpers, and all those who sowed into this vision for PEB's Prosperous Hands.
Congratulations, no more tribulation.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor, to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we
good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Chanel Felix. In case you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's interesting topics and conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. A daring overnight theft has left the community of Plymouth flabbergasted. Witnesses confirm that thieves used a stolen backhoe and flatbed truck to physically rip out an entire First Citizens Bank automated teller machine from the Supreme Plaza on Shelbourne Street. Eyewitness reports indicate the heavy machinery was originally taken from a nearby job site from being used to tear down the building's concrete facade to access the vault. Authorities have launched an island-wide search for the suspects and the missing cash repository. Additionally, first responders were deployed to the scene of a late-night shooting on the corner of Dutchford and Milford Road in Scarborough yesterday. An unidentified male victim was reported shot several times during a targeted firearm attack. Emergency services rushed the injured man to the Scarborough General Hospital, where he is currently recovering from his gunshot wounds. Crime scene investigators have swept the area as inquiries continue. And finally, Tobago's business sector is celebrating regional success. Experienced phlebotomist and local entrepreneur Delicia Boris has been named a finalist for the prestigious Caribbean Posh Iconic Woman Award. Boris, a CASMET-trained healthcare professional and CEO of Glorious Touch Spa, specializes in advanced wellness therapy, lymphatic drainage, client care. The ultimate category winners will be crowned during the 20th anniversary gala this weekend at Peter Island in the British Virgin Islands. And that was on news in 90 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, we take a quick break right here and we'll be back after this. See you soon.
So wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are
Sofa Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deals on some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
Yeah. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning we are taking a look at the budget presentation that was made on Monday morning by the Secretary for the Division of Finance, Trade and the Economy, Councillor Petal Ann Roberts. This morning we'll be chatting on that topic with no other than political analyst Winford James. Dr. James, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Miss Felix. Been a long time, isn't it?
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you on with us this morning. This morning we would be touching a bit on some of the takeaways from that last budget presentation that was made in the House on Monday. Do you think that what was presented was quite a realistic look at what can happen for Tobago, particularly looking at the fact that in the last budget, Tobago got significantly more than historically we would have gotten from the central government? This time around, the THA is requesting $3.06 billion from the national budget. Good morning again and welcome.
Okay. I don't have that figure, Ms. Felix. I thought they were asking for $4.1 billion. Are we mixing our terms up? what I saw in the budget statement is 4.1 billion. Has it gone down to 3.6 billion now?
I will.
In any event, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I will review my figures to ensure that I have them correctly.
It is 4.1 billion so far as I know, but that is not definite. That depends on what the finance minister allocates to Tobago when he reads the budget in Parliament in due course, right? So we may see changes. We might see probably that figure moving up from 4.1 to something larger, depending on on the discretion of the finance minister. Is that realistic? I really don't know what the term means this morning. Because we are borrowing to pay off debts, and we are still heavily dependent on Trinidad for our survival, for financial comfort. So I don't know. What I can say is that the House of Assembly seems satisfied with what the finance minister is willing to offer. But we don't know that yet. Those figures will change after we hear the national budget in the Parliament in due course.
Understood. When we look at some of the areas of priority for this budget, we see that sustainable tourism has to do with one of the key areas that this government is looking forward to help to boost the economy. But we know that the THA is heavily dependent on public sector funding as opposed to private sector funding that would actually cause that significant increase in GDP. Do you think that the focus is in the right place currently?
Well, it's not one right place, If the studies have been done and that they indicate that expanding the tourism plant is going to be good for the island, then let's go. But it's not the only thing. There are quite a lot of things in addition to a focus on tourism. I believe the government, the House of Assembly is depending on the government to come up with $500 million to build a Marriott branded hotel at Rocky Point. So there's an indication there, but the government has to agree, and apparently the government will agree, depending based on what I heard in the mid-term review and what I heard in the presentation of the Secretary of Finance. But it all depends on our doing things properly, our having the right personnel, the right staff, and of course, it depends on the government, of course, willing to fund the construction of a Marriott branded hotel. So yes, but there is much more, right? We have a situation where we are dependent, that is Tobago, dependent on Trinidad for sustenance. Let me see what my figures say here, Ms. Felix.
Yeah, you work indeed correct in that the total expenditure request is actually 4.1 billion, with the recurrent expenditure being around 3.03 billion and the development program request being 1.09 billion. We spoke heavily about the need to invest and to diversify into the private sector. Let's touch a bit on some of the incentives that the government of the island, the THA, can implement to encourage more persons to want to do business in Tobago. We know that a lot of entrepreneurs complain about the difficulty in doing business, in getting access to forex currency. What are some of the areas that you think should be focused on based on this entire pathway to prosperity blueprint strategy?
Well, I can only talk about what the THA has asked for. We are going back to, I think, the very first question that you asked me. But the point is, as many, we can get involved in as many areas as possible. First of all, we must have the means, the ability to fund whatever we want to be focused on. There is, for example, digitization, monetization, digitization, and modernization of the public service, the whole island, and even of the communities. What the communities do, we want to have a focus on that. We also want to stimulate the development of agriculture. We want to eventually, but I didn't hear them talk about it, but eventually we want to focus on the marine resources when the law is changed from 6 nautical miles around the island. We want to be able to focus on the development of marine resources in the island. But right now, of course, we don't have that legal ability because of what the law is. Right? So we want things like agriculture developed, we want crop development, we want to develop AI to improve the speed of learning in every aspect of our lives. We want all of that to happen. But we've got to have a conversation across the island in respect of how we can go about doing that.
Right.
You see, the biggest problem in Tobago, to get political economy, right? You have to have political autonomy, sorry. You have to have economic autonomy in order to get things going. And we have less than 1% of the GDP of Trinidad and Tobago provided by the Tobago economy. We are. How do we fix a situation where an island has been going for more than 46 years? How do we get that island to contribute more to its development and not to continue depending on Trinidad as we have been? We have been dependent on Trinidad for all of the 46 or so years of our having the restored House of Assembly. Right. So we need to tell the country how we can go about reducing our dependence on Trinidad and, of course, letting the island become the greatest little island in the world, on earth. But we don't have that conversation, and so we still are dependent on the economy of Trinidad. We still are dependent on what Trinidad has been dependent on, as oil and gas. And I'm not now talking about the non-energy sector. I'm talking about the energy sector, oil and gas. But that has not proven steady, consistently steady over time. And so even today, we are dependent on Trinidad, on oil and gas. And of course, the oil of gas is volatile, isn't it?
Understood. I want to touch a bit on one of the areas that you spoke about as it pertains to that autonomy in order to have that level of fiscal freedom to do some of the things that Tobago needs to do. I've spoken to a number of persons within the THA, within different departments, different sectors, and one of the things that you hear when the conversation about funding and that lack of funding comes up is that there has to be another way of finding funding for Tobago, whether it be through those international grants, international partnerships, or other fiscal opportunities through investments. Tobago has to be able to utilize those avenues to fund its development projects, because we cannot solely depend on the central government. The problem then arises of having that sovereign guarantee from the central government. Whether it's this administration or the previous administration, there seems to have always been that issue of receiving that sovereign guarantee, because the request for approval comes somewhere after the plans have already been made at the THA level. Is it that while we are still tied to the central government, that there needs to be greater collaboration at the planning level, at the committee levels, at the board levels, where there's possibly somebody from the ministry that's on one of these boards or committees, and someone from the THA, vice versa, on one of these national boards and companies and committees, to ensure that there's that collaboration from an early stage. And it's not a situation where, when we have already conceptualized our project, for instance, that Scarborough Redevelopment Project, now we're going to say, this is what we have in mind and we need to get your approval to do it.
Well, collaboration is something total, isn't it? You can't have collaboration except you have meetings, and you have meetings of the collaborators. So that I think is not really a problem once the collaboration is there. Now, if you look at the midterm review, you'll see that there, and you compare what the government is treating as investment or development, and you compare what the government offered in the midterm review, and you look also at what the budget for Tobago, the proposed budget, says, then you realize that there's a lot of sameness, or similarity, if not sameness, a lot of similarity in the development focus that both the government and the Tobago House of Assembly want. So I think that the question of membership of boards and so on is par for the course. It's just part of the operational paradigm that has to take place. But I don't know that there's going to be a problem, and I don't know that if the sovereign guarantee is necessary, that Tobago will be denied. Excuse me. That you will be not denied that guarantee if it's going to continue to develop, or if it's going to have a strong fillip for doing its development work that it has planned over time. But the public, of course, has to be involved every step of the way. We have to know what's going on, and there has to be a conversation that keeps going as these ideas come up in budgets, like the two that we have seen recently. We have the supplementary budget, as you know, $2.9 billion. Yeah, we have debts to pay, we have salaries to pay, and so on. These are things that have to be taken care of, right? And we in Tobago are, because we are so dependent, what is it we are offering the country as an island? Given this heavy dependency that I spoke about, what are we offering Trinidad? That we offering Trinidad and Tobago? So I'm saying to you here, we will know for sure when the budget is read. Is it in October?
Yeah.
Later this year? Yeah?
Yes.
We will know how much money Tobago will have, and we will know how monies will be redistributed to the foci of the House of Assembly. But we have been dependent all of our restored lives as an assembly And that has to end. But it can't end with the involvement of government alone. The private sector has to be involved. And therefore, when I say involved now, I don't mean simply use money, but they have to be part of the government's intention to renew what the Tobago House of Assembly can do. And that is not yet as pellucid as it can be. It's not there just yet, but we are waiting for it to happen. But we've got, as the private sector has got to be involved. And you remember you asked me that question about tourism up front. Well, they have to be involved. For sure, the people in agriculture and agriculture is one of the areas. I see that the government has met the House of Assembly. The Secretary for Finance talked about financial services, government services, and there was something else as well. I don't know that those three areas can lift Tobago out of the doldrum, that it is in right now.
Understood. Dr. James, we're going to take a quick break right here and we'll return with much more on this conversation after this. See you soon.
Okay.
The energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special.
From the reef to the road. From the reef to the road. From the reef to the road. Tobago calling. Sweet vibes, sweet wine, everybody falling. We bring the culture straight to you. Tobago updates, we keeping it true. Oh gosh. Tobago updates. On the screen, there we go. You're home for October, carnival show. From the big stage shine to the volleyball line. We bring Tobago to the world in real time. Tobago updates. Tobago updates. Carnival 2026. We set the pace.
You're hitting a very sore area there, very sensitive area, more so than Trinidad does. But the question you ask of Tobago is also relevant to Trinidad. Trinidad does not have the kind of capital that can catapult it into the kind of transformative development that we talk about. So the question is, we can depend on local finance to assist, but we also have to focus on international capital. And multilateralism is a part of the process that we will employ when we are talking about that kind of development. Now, I don't have the figures here with me right now with respect to the financial capacity of businesses that want to get involved in housing. But with government's assistance, encouragement, and so on, and with the relevant, excuse me, with the relevant assistance from the House of Assembly and from international agencies that are there for the purpose, we can get somewhere. But the House of Assembly has to have a target. They say they're going to publish the targets, and that's very encouraging. Yeah? They're going to publish their targets and so on. But yes, the money is there internationally. Some money is there locally. And government policy has to be such that it encourages. It removes all the bugbears. It removes all the hurdles that have characterized this place for such a long time. So it can happen. Yes? And I think we have to have collaboration. We have to have bonding with international bodies and international businesses to get going. And critically, we have to speed up our learning of business procedures and so on. And we have to speed up in our use of AI. AI, I believe, is there, and what AI will do is to help us improve the speed of our learning in every area. But we have to have the targets, and we have to have everybody being willing with the right kind of guidance and nudging and prompting and so on from government. Everybody has to put their shoulders to the task and move the island forward. But these things don't just happen just like that, you know. People have to come together.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you mentioned that unity and that coming together, and each and every citizen taking responsibility for that level of economic push and acceleration needed to drive Tobago's economy. How do we shift away from a culture where persons think that Tobago's economic development is solely based on THA action and not something that is of our collective responsibility, meaning having that ideology where persons move away from wanting that morning work, persons move away from wanting a comfortable job in the THA, and having that greater risk appetite to want to delve into different sectors, as you indicated, into the AI, you know, into the software technology, you know, digital improvement. How do we get, especially the youths, especially those at the school level, to want to take advantage of the technical vocational programs that are in place? How do we get Tobagonians energized for economic success?
That's a very good question. How do you do it? Well, you put ideas out there. You start businesses that are encouraged to go on. You take risks, financial risks, and so on. And of course, you have the protection that goes with it, because this Tobago, as we all know, is a tiny island. It does not have the financial capital to manage. We have not been able to take advantage yet of the marine resources, which could bring quite a big deal of income, right? But that so there's a role for House of Assembly in that regard. We've got to get the law changed, right? To expand the current borders of Tobago. We need to have development incentives, which can be accessed by business people who want to get along. And so you have that, and then of course you get the, as I said before, the help from international financiers who have money to burn, and with the right rates of borrowing, we can access these things.
Yeah. And Dr. James, even as we round off our discussion this morning, we're talking about the areas of prioritization that we've seen for this budget. We know that there's an ask, but there's what's actually given. Do you think that this THA needs, they have done a lot of consultation. Do you think that the public kind of still needs to have that level of consultation on what we actually do with what we have gotten?
Yeah.
Or do you think that we have already heard enough from the different sectors?
We will not ever hear enough, because life changes on us. Ideas come and compete with other ideas. And we need to renew our understandings of things and so on. We need to facilitate whatever we do. And there are people across the world who do things in ways that we have not even begun to think of. So we got to borrow from the successes of companies and small countries across the world. So I don't know that we will ever be satisfied, or should ever be satisfied, with the little success we have. The ceilings, of course, have to be lifted higher and higher, so that we can be on the same playbook and so on. But we have to develop context. We've got to develop context. And we can't just say, all right, nothing is happening, and so I'm going to be satisfied with a little. People have to see success breeds success, right?
Right.
And people see that the government is encouraging them.
Right.
That's always important in business. And people want to come into this country to do business, always talk about the need for ease of doing business. But it's the same thing here. There must be an ease. All the bureaucratic bugbears have to be removed once it does not affect the quality of our justice system.
Right.
Yeah?
Understood.
So
I just want to make it clear that you're saying that it doesn't matter how much consultation we have, especially seeing that there's no opposition at the THA level. There has to be that consistent conversation and communication with members of the public in development.
Yeah. And it's not only the political parties. You know, the political parties are made up of people like me and you. That is just a formal process that is politics, a formal process that is used to run the country justly. So anybody could be part of it, but the public has to be part of it. The public has ideas as well. And if you ask me, there are members of the public who have better ideas than the government of the country, right? It's not as if the fact that you win the approval of people to run the place means it. You have conferred upon yourself wisdom that you didn't have before. Not at all.
Understood.
You've got, the context has to be created. People have to see the context there and have to take advantage of what the openings are there in the context. Yes, and it's a conversation that has to happen all the time. It has to have people, the younger people, as you were referring to, have to be involved in that in a way that they are not yet. We have to improve, for example, the percentage of people with tertiary degrees, tertiary education. That's important. It's important in relation, for example, it's important in relation to the speed of learning. Yes, that's something we have to pay close attention to. Otherwise, we are not going to move very fast at all. But we can't stop talking.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. James. Well, again, we want to thank you for being a part of our discussions this morning and looking at some of the key takeaways from that budget presentation that was done on Monday. Well, we look forward to the actual debate that's happening on Thursday, where we get to hear more of the detailed plans and strategies coming out of the different divisions. Ladies and gentlemen, we will take a quick break right here and we'll be back with much more conversations after this. See you soon.
My name is Carpage. I'm the head coach of St. Jago High School boys track and field team.
My name is Joseph Small. I am the head coach of the girls female program. Preparing an athlete is not just running on the track. You have the mental aspect, you have the nutrition aspect, and you have the support and the motivation. So there's a lot of factors that we have to look into, and we have to try to see how best we can deal with them as best as possible.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Coming up, hot plates, cold drinks, and chilled vibes were the order of the month in Antigua and Barbuda. Top chefs, tasty menus, influencers, and foodies. The boxes were ticked, kitchens buzzing, and grills fired up. It's the one and only Antigua and Barbuda Culinary Month with Caribbean Passport TV on this station.
Stay tuned for what's coming next.
Sofa Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deals on some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
All we is one family, Tobago family and friends. Healing concert for Oscar B.
All we is one family. All we is one family.
A benefit concert honoring a cultural icon, Oscar B. on Sunday, the 28th of June, 2026 at the Shore Park Cultural Complex, featuring conscious renditions, gospel performances, and Tobago's finest artists. A benefit concert honoring the cultural icon, Tobago's own, Tobago's pride, Tobago's legend. Doors open from 4 p.m., showtime 5 p.m. Give from the heart or make your donations at the door. Or call 917-807-2119, 741-6143 or 759-6634. Presented by friends and family of Oscar B Committee in collaboration with Tobago-based partners. All proceeds will go towards Oscar B's medical expenses and recovery. You don't want to miss it. All we is one family. The healing concert for Oscar B.
Go wine so, push back so, we go jam so, hey, then we come together. Hear me?
Okay. 335, 336, 337, 338, 339.
Counting on your fingers again. No wonder you lose your business.
Grandpa, thanks for helping me start over.
You not lucky in business, you know. As a child, you tried to sell hog plum. That failed. As a teenager, you and your boyfriend tried to break into the jewelry business. But hey, where that boy end up?
He live in Aruka in the Grove. The golden one.
Oh, child, if you want to get into business, you have to have your financial records intact. But hey, do you know your numbers?
Of course, 62433.
No, child, your numbers, your ratios, your equity ratios. You have a financial handicap.
What?
You need to see somebody about that. Anderson.
Who?
Anderson in Trinidad and Tobago, they offer tax and accounting services. They know about financial management.
Grandpa, I started this business with nothing.
And nothing is what you will end up with unless you call Anderson Services. Here.
Okay, this card is nice.
Yeah.
What's this?
Your rental fee. Have business will pay rent. Hot and groovy in the soca party.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, we are continuing our conversation in studio this morning, and I have the privilege of sitting in studio and chatting with Prophet Anthony Lee, who is one of the key promoters of the Gifted Hands Foundation. This morning we're chatting about Grill Praise Unity Fiesta, and we're chatting with artist Anthony Bacchus, or also known as the artist Junior Banner. Good morning and welcome.
Yes, good morning to you. Yeah.
Excellent. Now you guys are going back into the community and stirring up that level of positivity, youth engagement and impact to get youth really excited and energized for Christ.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about this event that's being put on.
All right, so basically Grill Praise is really we are going into the community, right? It's a drive, it's a movement that we want to spread peace, love and unity back into the community, right? By doing grills, right? So everything is basically free. We are here to encourage the youth to come out and to participate in this event that is for them, so that they can be that kind of oneness and bondness together.
Right. And so we're talking about feeding the body and also feeding the mind and the soul.
Yes.
There's music, there's positive encouragement,
yes.
There's that positive conversation, yes. But also that food, and you know, they say Tobago people love free food, right? So tell us a bit, Junior Banner, how you became a part of this movement, and you know, from the artists we have come to know, to getting to the point where you're deeply engaged in this type of positive youth engagement initiative.
Well, I had a near-death encounter where, while being an artist in Trinidad, after doing a show, I was shot 9 times in my body and was left to dead on the ground. And on my way to the hospital, you know, I had certain encounters where I would have heard a spirit speaking to me and actually giving me instructions how to stay alive. And it took me a while, but I realized that these instructions were actually coming from God. And it took me a while to realize it, but when I got baptized, which would have been last year March, I realized I had a calling to make my life experience a testimony. So I went wrong. Anyway, anybody called me, any church that called me, any school, and I continued giving my testimony of surviving, my survival testimony, and I give all the glory to God through Jesus Christ, you know?
All right, excellent. And this is a story that impacts a lot of young men that are in the street, on the street, or just lost as to where their future, their pathway is, or understanding their purpose. How have you utilized your story to encourage other artists like yourself, whose music may not be positive facing, to make that pivot as well?
All right, that's a great question. Because what I think is Tobago has fallen victim to a lack of awareness. So because they have such little awareness of what is possible, they are only choosing what they are seeing possible. So when you watch at something like Trinidad music and music on a whole, you look at, if I could put two classes, you watch at Trinidad music and look at hip-hop music.
Right.
These two musics are supposed to be where you see young men sharing their truth, their real life, and what they're going through, and people now will empathize with this, because music is something to empathize. One music might empathize with a person that is in a high motive or in a high spirit. One music might empathize with a person in a low spirit. So when I went through the doors of music, I ended up touching a lot of different genres. I started off writing calypso when I was in primary school. Then I reached Bishop's High School, where I become like this young dancehall artist. And then I left school and I was an adult, and I was introduced to soca music, and that's where Junior Bana came into character in soca. But as my career was going to its peak in soca music, COVID happened, and that was in 2020. And I had now to make a decision, what do I do now with this talent? And because I was in Trinidad while going through this soca journey, I was actually practicing to be the lead singer in Traffic, the band. And when that door was closed, I was in Trinidad. And it's just me now as an artist in Trinidad. And I was like, what do I do now? And the door for Trinidad was open for me. And I entered into that door. And because I entered into that door, I exposed myself now to what that door entails. That door has violence in it. It has, is gang activity in it. And this is just the reality. The reality is that when you are aware of this, and you say that this is making it, you will try it. And if I know, as a person who already been through that door, enter into the door of goodness and enter into the door where Christ entered my life now, and I seen a difference where since I start accepting Jesus as my Savior, and since I start trying to do good instead of doing bad, I seen benefit out of it. I seen comfort. I feel in happiness, I actually see myself coming from darkness into light. So now I have something now that is tested. So because I test the doors, which is the doors of negativity, the doors of, this is drugs, the doors of, abuse of everything, of just saying here going on, I'm not smart anymore, fully dunce.
Right.
Because I tried these doors and I see what these doors leaded up to, which was near death in my and only bad outcomes. Because of that, I could testify now that there's something better.
Right.
There's a other way.
Yes.
Prophet Anthony Lee, a powerful testimony coming from Junior Bana and his life transformation. We see on the cast that you have a number of artists ranging from Guardian Knight, Stephanie Joseph, Junior Bana himself, Donald Job. So there's a mix of positive artists and gospel artists.
Yes.
How would stories like the one of Junior Banner really be a core aspect of this Grill Praise and Unity Fiesta event?
Well, because that's exactly what Grill Praise is all about. What we want to portray, or what we are portraying on that day, right, is to identify. And once a youth come and they could hear Junior Banner testimony live, they could hear Garden Night testimony. So we as he says, is something that is proven. We're not coming to tell them something about somebody. Right. So it's really more impact when they can hear it for themselves. Right. And in addition to that, we want everybody to understand that this is what will make the difference. Right. The youths on the block, the youths out there, they're searching. They're looking, they're watching, and once we could reach them, that is what is important. So all these different artists come together, and we, I was able to, the grace of God, we was able to pull all of this. It's not easy to have all of them on one stage at the same time, but God made it happen. Because when we share the vision, everybody decide, hey, I want to be a part of it. Right? So that is why we are doing what we are doing now. And we choose to go at Bethel because that is the spot. Everything happens there, and we know that when we go there, we will see change.
Understood. And just even as we round off our discussion this morning, remind our audience of the time, the location, the date, how they can be a part of this.
Right. So it's really, it's on the 27th, right? We're starting at 4 p.m. at Egypt Junction, Bethel. And also we are looking at having all these artists performing. We're having live free grill on the spot, so people can come and enjoy. Right? We're also having a health corner where we'll have getting proper free body scan to whatever sickness, whatever. Right. So we have a guy coming up from Trinidad with health products and doing all the body scans and stuff. So that's a health corner. That one be about 4 o'clock. And then we having at 5 o'clock, we kick off with the artists and the different new live performance. So basically, it will be a packed event.
Excellent. We look forward to it.
So should you mention that like Grill Praise going to be a one-off? Not a one-off?
So we are also looking at other areas. We're moving it from village to village. Right. So it's going to be a next event by another village, and so what we're going to have is like persons being able to see what's taking place and say, hey, we want that in our village.
Understood. Well, I want to thank you guys for doing whatever you can within your capacity to bring that positive influence to the youth within the communities. And as I always say, we have to understand that it's no one person's responsibility. It's not the responsibility of the police or the responsibility of the government or of even parents only, but as a community, we have to look out for each other. Whether that be by doing what Junior Banner is doing, by sharing his life as a testimony to young persons and inspiring them to continue to live a positive life or understand what their purpose in life is, or simply understanding how to hear the voice of God. And so again, we want to thank you guys, and we look forward to a successful event. We know that Grill Praise and Unity Fiesta being held in Bethel on the 27th of June is going to be a power-packed event of great community impact, and we look forward to it moving from village to village, community to community, and touching every life on the island directly or indirectly. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for being a part of this morning's discussions. We want to thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing and continue to do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, I am Chanel Felix, and I'll always encourage you to have a productive day.